Hey guys, so I actually thought about this, and it's not really meant to be a pushing down religion on you guys sort of video, but I want to share with you an experience that I had and how that experience totally affected how how I prayed. And it sounds really really strange, but um, there was this incident where I went to church and it was a youth group, and all of us, we were holding hands together and we were praying. All right. For those of you who don't believe in God, well, I guess it does not apply. For those of you who do believe in God, well, maybe this will relate to you guys. So, anyways, so we were praying. I was pretty young at that point in time, and it was my turn to pray. And the thing about it is that I was not very accustomed. I'm not accustomed to praying out loud. And after I prayed, um, and I was asked to pray for like the nation and so forth. I prayed up a little bit for the nation, and then right after that, I believe it was the youth leader or someone else. Um, I guess they didn't think that that prayer was good enough, and so they sort of prayed the same prayer a little bit over and better. And that was the day that anxiety came into me about praying in public. And so ever since that day, every time I'd have to pray among people, I'd get so nervous and so afraid that it would affect how I prayed. You know what I mean? Because with anxiousness, etc., could kind of overtake your mind and cause your mind to kind of go blank, etc. So, anyways, that really, really affected my life in public and in church for quite a number of years. And it was one of those things where I would actually be afraid of going to like a prayer session or something like that because I was so afraid that they would call on me and then I'd feel embarrassed. And I think that is what happened. I felt embarrassed from that day, and it just stuck with me. And in life that sometimes happens to us, that situations come our way and it makes us feel embarrassed, and then we sort of stop and then we get anxious and all these different things because of that. But eventually what I decided, after years of I guess in a way hiding sometimes, etc., people don't understand why. And they may not feel that this is a justified video for that, but I always had a relationship with God by praying directly to God, etc. But just having it said out loud was hard. And so, anyways, I had good people that would give me advice, and I spoke to my mom, I spoke to my wife even, and I told them about it. And sometimes it's really hard to express your weaknesses in life, but if you express it to the right people, the right people could answer it and really really help you. So, anyways, from that, they told me that what you need to do is practice prayer, and I thought that was so strange and so weird because it sounds totally unorthodox. It sounds totally strange to have to practice prayer, because the real reality is that when we pray, it should be genuine, and it should be genuine when we speak to God. But in public, it's a whole different perception a lot of the time. I mean, people judge you based on that prayer. Is it right? I don't think it is. But yet people judge how spiritual you are, how religious you are, based on how well you pray. So I decided to start practicing praying. Not that I didn't pray to Almighty God, but that I would practice praying out loud. And that has helped a lot because now I'm always a bit nervous about praying out loud in front of people, etc. It's just the same way like speaking. Some people just are nervous speaking out loud to others as well, or having a speech, etc. But by practicing a little bit, I was a little bit more comfortable praying out loud. Of course, when you have to pray out loud with people who you think are really religious, that anxiety does actually come back to me. But I try to not let it get the better of me. And because I practice it a little bit, it actually helps to, you have an action plan in your mind, like what you want to pray for, like you give thanks, and then you pray for the nation, or you pray for your friends, you pray for the church, you pray for the people of the world, and those different things. And that's how I actually, I would say, I'm coming out of being afraid of praying. Because the truth of the matter is that it's not really about the people, yet that's what we think, right? Because when we're praying in a group and people hearing you and people could judge you, that's what we worry about. It's not that we are afraid of how we speak to God. And that's kind of the additional recipe to it, is that you need to remember, if you are going through the same situation that I have gone through, and I still struggle sometimes with it, but not all the time. I would just say, I want to encourage you to remember that when you speak to God, you speak to Him the way that you think that you need to speak to Him, hopefully not in a bad way, but that really should be number one over the impressions of people. But with that being said, of course, a little practice does actually help. So with that being said, guys, I want to encourage you guys that if you do actually feel anxious, it doesn't have to be about prayer, but if you do actually feel anxious about something, one of the best things that you can do, is usually a solution, and that solution, like in this case, was the practice. I would just suggest that you try to practice it over and over and over, and that, practice makes it perfect. In life, I think that we struggle, generally speaking. I also struggle with practicing sometimes what I preach, or practicing something that I speak about, or practicing, taking care of my health and these different things. All that is, we have to practice and sometimes work a little bit hard in order to do it. So with that being said, guys, I encourage you guys to don't be discouraged over anxiety. But just remember that there are little recipes and formulas you could use to minimize at least the anxiety, so that you can go ahead with your life and go ahead with a happy life to the best of your ability. And I guess that's it for this video. So if you do actually like this video, please hit the like. If you do find this was an interesting video as well, of course, make sure to subscribe, because I always have these thoughts and these experiences that I go through, and that's the plan. That's the plan for this YouTube channel, really, is just to share those thoughts and those views, and maybe encourage somebody out there. So with that being said, guys, have an awesome day today, and I'll see you guys again soon.